Get ready to spice up your kitchen with a delicious fall treat. Today we have our friend Barbie Hahn, owner of That Damn Jam, here in the studio to share her secret recipe. Not going to be secret for long. Yummy apple spice muffins. The best part, you don't even need a mixer. Always great to see you, Barbie.
Thank you, Pete. I'm so glad to be here.
I love this. These muffins sound fantastic. They're so simple, so quick, easy to make. How did you come up with this recipe?
Well, I actually make muffins quite frequently for my husband, and just creaming the butter and the sugar and having the butter out at room temperature was kind of like a game stopper for me. So I wanted to find a recipe that used oil, that you didn't have to have a mixer, that you could put together by hand. And I actually have the recipe, the base recipe memorized, and I'm going to share that with you today. And then you can mix in apples, carrots, zucchini, blueberries, whatever you want with the base recipe. So it's 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, cup of milk, 1/3 cup of oil, 1 egg, some sour cream, and you're good to go.
All right, that's easy enough.
So you don't have to mix it. You don't have to do the butter and the sugar first, and you can just put it all in your bowl, mix it up, and put in your mix-ins, and you're good to go.
Oh my gosh, it really does sound easy.
It's super simple. And so the inspiration for this fall recipe was apples. I know a lot of people are about pumpkin spice, but you know,
it seems like with fall, like apple spice is like a great way to go.
All the apples are in season. And so my grandmother, Pete, had a lot of trouble with arthritis, with peeling apples and chopping apples. And I got to thinking about her, and I know you have arthritis too, right?
Yeah.
So how do we make this recipe simpler for people? And so I came up with shredding the apples. So using the big grates on my grater, I just kind of tilt it to the side, and I go like this. And certainly you have to be careful that you are not getting too close.
That's what I'm worried about.
Right?
I'm shaving my thumb.
And then you just turn the apple around, and you're going to grate these apples until you have about 2 cups. So what I want you to think about with the recipe, when you're putting the flour and the sugar and the liquids together, if it looks a little dry, don't worry, because the apples bring extra moisture to the game, right? So they're going to make a really lovely, nice, moist muffin.
All right, that sounds good. That's easy enough. And while we're putting all this together here too, Barbie, while you're showing us all of this, can you let people know how you kind of got started with That Damn Jam?
Oh yeah, so I started That Damn Jam during COVID. It was a jam that I had made for about 15 years and gave out to friends and family, and it just kind of evolved during COVID. I was mailing out to friends and clients, and they started Venmoing me money.
Nice.
And all of a sudden I had a little business.
Well, that's perfect.
I want to share with you some tips on how to have your muffins turn out perfect every time.
That seems like a hard thing to do, but you have a way that we can make it easy.
So having your perfectly repeatable process with this base recipe, I think once you're comfortable doing that, but what you got to do, Pete, is you got to check your baking powder. You got to check the expiration date. This one expires in 2026. I just bought it. If you don't have good fresh baking powder, your muffins won't rise.
That's the key.
Same thing with your cinnamon. When you open up your cinnamon, you want to smell it. You want to see that it has a really bright, vibrant fragrance to it, and you want to check the expiration date. And Pete, do you know what this is? This is a nutmeg grinder. It's a fancy nutmeg grinder. You can buy nutmeg in a box, right, at the grocery store, or you can buy them and just get a little sander and grate them. But I found this, and just being Barbie, I had to have this nutmeg grinder. But it really makes
the nutmeg and the cinnamon. I mean, why do you think that's just like the perfect fall smell? Yeah, absolutely.
So a couple other things you can do is toast your nuts. If you're putting nuts in your muffins or in a cake, what you want to do is put them in a pan and toast them until you smell them. When the smell is released into the air, they're ready. The other thing I always do is I rehydrate any dried fruit, like cranberries or raisins, in some water, because if you don't do that, they pull the moisture out of your muffins to plump up when baking.
So you talked about the moisture from the apples. That would just get sucked into the raisins.
It would get sucked into the raisins. And then I like to have some type of wonderful streusel topping. Smell that, Pete, on top. So this is just cinnamon and some that raw sugar. You know, so here we sprinkle that on top, and it just makes a wonderful topping that you kind of crunch into when you bite it.
I love that. And then you just kind of mix that in there with everything. This is so fantastic, Barbie. So if people want to learn more about you, That Damn Jam, get some more recipe inspiration, where can we go?
You can go to thatdamnjam.com. I'm That Damn Jam Lady on Instagram, and That Damn Jam on Facebook.
All right. Well, Barbie Hahn, That Damn Jam Lady. Hey, and I think it goes really well with coffee too, right?
It goes great with our morning coffee.
I love that.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Barbie.